Single parenting isn't easy. We understand. Most parents don't plan to go it alone, but you can still make the most of this journey for your children and yourself. In fact, if you and your family are on that journey, this podcast is for you. Welcome to the Single Parent Advocate community and to our podcast. And here are your hosts, single parent founder Stacy Poitras, and broadcast journalist, single dad and friend, Daryl Moody.
Welcome to the show. I am Daryl Moody, joining you once again from my home studios here in Orlando. This is the Single Parent Advocate podcast. Stacy is there in those beautiful SPA studios. Special thanks to the folks at VentureX Louisville, the Realm at Castle Hills. And I must say, Stacy, you are looking lovely today. Merry Christmas. Happy New Year to you.
Oh, thanks, Daryl. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year to you. I am so excited. I think I'm looking lovely because my son came to town. I got to visit with him and my daughter-in-law, and we went shopping, and I got to get some new makeup and exchange presents with them, and it's just been a great time. So great to see him and face-to-face with him living so far away.
Well, and that is the best part of the holidays, is being able to spend time with loved ones and kind of recharge your emotional batteries and that sort of thing. But I got to say, you look like you're glowing. So I'm sure the time off with your son was well-deserved and well spent. And why don't you bring us up to speed with everything going on with Single Parent Advocate? Obviously, it's a busy time of year for you with Christmas and New Year. You're trying to help families and kind of improve their Christmas experience while always keeping an eye ahead at the new year. What have you been working on?
Well, it's really kind of cool. We are helped 100 families with the strong boost that came from our friends at Gab Wireless and Huffines Auto and Matthew 6 Ministries. They really helped us a ton to really reach into the lives of the kids, honestly, packing the bags. We have these big red bags full of gifts for, the kids that are 12 and under, gift cards for the teenagers and the parents themselves that were nominated. And we were very, very, very excited that Granite Tower and the ownership group there donated some space. So we've even had space to work, and that's been huge. I will be getting a press release out about that new partnership pretty soon, just to make sure everybody knows who's been really at our side this season, really all the way through. I have spent so many weekends, Daryl, with our team packing these bags with all our hearts, just trying to gather items and put them in the bags so that the parents are able to have items under the tree for their kids, and that has been huge. And I'm super excited. One more thing about there are some other charities coming alongside of us to provide food. So Gateway Church, for example, paid for us to have hot meals to give everybody to take home. And then there's Pastor Carter coming to hand out, fresh food. And, all of these moving pieces all come together on the day of, and people's lives are changed. I have one of my favorite Christmas moments is when Chief Rhyme from the Highland Village Police, he dresses up as Santa and comes and greets all the kids, and so we're gonna have a really great time. We're gonna have a DJ playing music and lots of door prizes and things like that for families, and I'm super excited about it. And all of that is moving parts, just like you said. And I found out that there's going to be about 50 bicycles now donated for 50 kids, and those are going to have to be, delivered as well. So you're right, it's busy.
So how many families were you able to touch?
It's about 100. It's 100 families, which is usually about 300 to 325 children and teens. So it's absolutely. I feel like the mother in the shoe sometimes. I've been so talking about, how much I miss my son, and, but I have all this blessing of so many families that are a part of our community, and I just love seeing them all, and I am super grateful.
And as far as these bags, what goes into one of these bags that you give to the kids?
Well, so the bags are filled with we interview our families and ask them what their children are interested in. And so we get as close as possible. So there was a one family nominated as an example that had 2 5-year-old girls. And so I got them each a little purse, and, each a little, their first diary that has stickers and things like that. And then there was stuffed animals, one's a unicorn and one's a big blue bear. And I put all of those in. And then we also have hats and gloves and scarves for every family member, as well as crafts. I always like to put a book in there of some kind, and maybe a card game like Crazy Eights or Go Fish. And we put whatever we can in the bag for the gifts, for the families, all of that. And it's a labor of love, because we want them to feel like they're loved by us the way that they're loved by their parent, right? And so very carefully put together and put together.
Well, I when I was doing my Christmas shopping for the girls, I started at TJ Maxx, and in less than a half hour, I'd spent $300, and that's just one store for my 2 girls, ages 8 and 6. Do you have a dollar amount of how much all this has cost?
Well, I've been real watching that closely, especially this year with the generosity that we've been entrusted with our sponsors. So, each year we usually spend between $10,000 and $15,000 to help 100 families, and we do that by shopping. For sales, we'll be able to go to a Dollar Tree or a discount store and pick up, buy one get one half off or things like that. We definitely have an Amazon business account, and I'm able to generate some stuff together for that. A lot of the gift cards and things like that we get a lot of. The other thing that I've really been, just shocked and humbled by is the number of people that want to send gift cards. The teenagers, they want electronics, they want to go to H&M, they want to go to Five Below, they want to go to all these really great places. And, so I'm super grateful for the people that have just, gone and got gift cards. So I would say each family, we spend an average of about $150, but they get more than $150 worth of
exactly, because
support.
that doesn't count the items that were donated, the 50 bikes, that sort of thing. That has a value too.
Exactly.
In terms of just the economic impact of this effort, it's got to be pretty significant.
It is. It's very significant, and it's also a lot of helpers. Whether it's the Lifetime Fitness at Flower Mound, gathering those bikes, carefully tagging them, making sure each child's name is on them, making sure that the families that are given a bike know in advance so they come in a vehicle big enough to put the bike in, just things like that. And then also planning for a safe social distancing. Portion of the event is going to be outside to keep everybody safe, and then a portion is inside to keep them warm, and then hopefully not having too many people together at one time. There are lots and lots of components of planning, and I'm super grateful for our steering committee who definitely come alongside me, because if it wasn't for them, I would be in a little puddle in the corner, I promise.
Well, that was the perfect segue into my next question. How many elves did you have helping you? Just single parent advocate, not the different businesses and organizations that are helping you, but just in terms of your team, how many folks did you have?
There's about 10 of us. That are leaning in full meal deal right now. We meet every week. We have our tasks and things that we need to do and go get, and we divide and conquer.
Well, I appreciate you making me and my kids part of the Zoom presentation. It was a lot of fun reading to the kids. We got to read some Christmas stories to the kids. And, I talk about the podcast to my girls all the time, but they don't really know what it's like to be on camera and to do this, in real time. So, thank you for including us in that. I know they enjoyed it.
Oh, yeah. And who doesn't want to play bingo and have a scavenger hunt and win prizes? And yeah, I'm super grateful for you doing that, Daryl. And I'm glad that you're getting to know some of the families.
Well, if there is one good thing that has come out of the COVID-19 pandemic, it's the use of video presentations, video chatting, Zoom, Microsoft Teams, whatever your platform is. It's amazing to see not just work, but the good that you can do utilizing this technology.
Oh, no doubt about it. And it takes the distance away. I love that piece of it. I know that that's business 101 for many people, being on Zoom to conduct their business lives, and certainly charitable outreaches, are included in that. But for us, we hadn't really had a strong reason to be on Zoom to really add that to our outreach. And so what really warms my heart about that is I can be present with somebody in Florida. I can be present with somebody in Los Angeles or Houston or Oklahoma. And so it just takes those miles away so we can, be together. And I know that applies to so many other things for people in their worlds, but for this organization, it's been a long time coming, and a big part of my heart where I wanted to welcome families from all over.
Well, I will tell you, after we get into the new year, we start talking about that golf tournament. I can't play golf via Zoom.
No, so you're coming in. You're coming to Dallas.
Yeah,
you're coming to Dallas. Yeah,
I will be there for sure. So while all of these holiday festivities are a great escape, if you will, from the stresses of the holiday season, as single parents, we still do struggle with it a lot. And it's the stress of buying the gifts. It's the stress of coordinating everything. Who's got the kids this week? Who's got the kids next week? When do you exchange kids? There's a lot of rigmarole, a lot going on, and it's easy to get overwhelmed. And the actual subject of our show this week is to talk about Christmas presents, Presents, versus Christmas presents, Presence. And it's really easy to get caught up in the presents and not be present.
That's right.
So let's talk about that.
Well, it's so true. But if you look at all of the work that has gone into putting the presents, the gifts in these bags and all of that, and busy beavers, busy elves going about doing all of these things to prepare for our families. And then when our families get here, it's always my heart to make sure I get time to greet them and say hello. But it's hard because there's always something, for me to go and do and take care of or make sure is running correctly. And it tugs at my heart that we don't get to more fully dwell and have time together. Even Chris coming into town, for the holiday, I was so excited to see him, but it went so fast. It just seemed like it went so fast, Daryl, that I was aching a little bit when it was time for him to go, even though it was a whole week that he was here. It just seemed like crazy,
Well, I'm a big fan of doing stuff as opposed to having stuff and buying stuff and getting stuff and giving stuff. I feel like experiences, especially for my kids, they're little, they break everything anyway. Experiences and building memories and stuff like that is way more important than American Girl dolls and play sets and all that. So, in our previous episode, we had talked about the importance of creating your own holiday traditions and that sort of thing. And I had mentioned that every year we like to go to my alma mater, UCF. they have Light Up UCF. It's a Christmas thing. They got an ice skating rink and an ice slide and all sorts of stuff. Well, it's canceled again this year. And while obviously I'm very disappointed about that, we have another opportunity to build a holiday memory this week, which I am really, really excited about. And, I'm a college football fan. We talk about it all the time. I'm a UCF grad, but I also grew up very close to the University of Florida. So I have two teams when it comes to college football. That's the Gators and the Knights. And Santa gave us an early Christmas present this year in that UCF and Florida are actually playing each other in a bowl game in Tampa. And the reason why I'm really excited about this is obviously we're going to go, but all throughout the season, my kids kept asking me, Dad, we want to go to a Gator game. We want to go to a Gator game. Well, Gainesville's 2.5 hours away from Orlando. The stadium is 90,000 people. And if you've ever been in Gainesville, Florida on a game day, it's chaos. And I'll be honest, I have this fear of taking my 8 and 6-year-old to Gainesville and having, one of them have a meltdown or something happens, they get overwhelmed. One of my kids doesn't like loud noises. And, I've had this fear of going up there and having it be a complete disaster. So when I found out that Florida and UCF would be playing in the Gasparilla Bowl in Tampa, I got us tickets.
Ooh.
And I'm not kidding you, Stacy. When I told my daughter Elise, my 8-year-old, she cried. She was so excited about the game that she was emotionally overwhelmed and she cried. And they've been to 2 UCF games this year, so it's not like they've never been to a college football game, but they've never been to a Gator game. They know how much the Gators mean to me. So, and to be able to have both of our teams play in one game, it was just really, really special. But, it's funny how this has worked out. And I don't know how many of our viewers and listeners really follow college football, but, in the tier of bowl games, the Gasparilla Bowl in Tampa is like a tier 3, maybe even a tier 4 bowl game. So when before the teams were even announced, I went ahead and bought tickets because I got tickets in the end zone. They were $15 a piece. And I said, they haven't announced the teams yet, but I know the prices are going to go up if I don't get tickets now. So I bought my tickets. I got really lucky. The game is sold out, believe it or not.
Wow.
Yeah. And when I got the tickets for the game, my original thinking was, Gator fans aren't going to come out. It's a garbage bowl game. I would much rather take my kids to a game in a half-empty stadium than take them to Gainesville against, Tennessee or Florida State or a big game with 90,000. So, the road to hell is paved with good intentions. So the game is a sellout. 65,000 people are going to be at this game, but we've got primo tickets that if I wanted to, I could sell for $200 a piece, but I wouldn't do that because as far as I'm concerned, for me and my girls, it's completely invaluable.
So now, the quality time, the gift that you're giving the girls is really more quality time and your focused time on them versus it's not like, oh, I'm going to give you tickets to this game. It's not just that kind of gift or that kind of present. It's the also your attention and your heart. That's exactly what it is. They get to go see Daddy's 2 favorite teams play a football game. Right.
And I'm not kidding you. Like Elise cried when I told her. She was so excited, and Claire's excited too. But to me, that $76 that I spent on tickets with the fees and all that, that's $1 million gift that I can give them.
Right.
And that's an experience, and that's a memory that they're going to have for the rest of their lives about going to see Florida and UCF play in a bowl game. But the point I'm trying to make is that doing something like that, giving my kids that experience, is better than any toy or electronic device or anything like that I could give them.
Right. Well, and I think, you're kind of hitting the nail on the head. I think maybe for a lot of us, like you said, we get busy cooking. We've got all these different to-dos that we need to do, or things we need to go get, or, I get kind of caught up in decorating. Like the house has to have all the Christmas stuff out. It's got to be cleaned. It's got to be ready. I got to go to the grocery store, get everything, and I come in for a landing and I spend all of my time serving or cleaning or doing the cooking or doing all of the different things, and I don't spend the time sitting and talking or sitting and focusing on what somebody's saying to me, I'm usually multitasking. Like here, have some iced tea, and I'm going to cook and do all this stuff, and I'll listen to you while I do that. And I've always been very passionate about multitasking, but it just seems like very, I don't know if it's just on my mind because of Chris living so far away now. Like, I want to take all of that and set it aside, and I want to just be with him, like unplug and, okay, I'm here with you, like I don't want to waste that. Does that make sense?
It makes perfect sense. It's so important. But before we go any further, I have to ask you a question, Stacy.
What?
As it pertains to Christmas decorations.
Uh-oh.
Real tree or artificial tree?
Artificial. Well
Really?
lit. Yeah. Absolutely. Are you kidding me? I don't want to go kill a tree. I love to garden. I don't like killing trees. Yeah.
That's a good point. I'll give you that. For me personally, I'm a real tree guy. I love going and buying the tree. I love setting it up. Every tree is different.
Oh, and the smells.
Oh, the smell's amazing.
Yeah.
My house smells like a juniper forest right now. I love it.
Oh, can't wait to see it. You'll have to send us a picture.
I will. Because I'm really proud of how this year's tree came out. Because I bought it. I don't want to say I bought it early, but my sister, my older sister, God bless her, she watches too much of the news, and she kept telling me for weeks, there's a Christmas tree shortage. There's a Christmas tree shortage. You got to get your tree early. Don't wait. You won't have any. And we got a good one this year, and I'm really happy with it. It's beautiful. I love the way we decorated it. We did something a little different this year. We went all white lights, and we didn't do the red sash all the way around. And I'm thrilled. I love it. I'm really happy.
Oh,
I've
that's
got my little light
awesome.
up palm tree right next to it.
So now when you guys put the tree up, and the girls were a part of that, I suppose, right? Like, did you create an opportunity similar to the football game where you could actually be present with them instead of multitasking and being distracted?
Well, they're still a little difficult to go buy the tree with them. So I bought the tree and set it up while they were at school. And then it was our Friday night activity. We opened up the tub of ornaments, and we each, we made decisions together as far as what ornament goes here and what ornament goes there. And, Claire's got her ornaments with baby pictures, and Elise has her ornaments that she's made at school or whatever. And it was like, they took ownership in decorating it. And yes, it was absolutely, it was an event. It was our entire evening. I focused on nothing but doing that with them. And I really enjoyed it. And for somebody who complains about the rituals of Christmas, I feel like we kind of created our own there. I mean, everybody decorates the tree, but to your point, it was a lot of fun, and it was really good family bonding time. And I can't wait to do it next year.
Well, that's good to hear. I can't help but think about families who, this is a busy season at work, and how difficult it must be to really unplug and just focus on family and kids and neighbors and all of the beautiful things about this season. What would you say to our friends who are all harried at work right now, Daryl, about being present?
Well, it's about setting your priorities. And like you said, you have to make a conscious effort to be present in that moment and to enjoy that experience for what it is. And, it helps that we did it on a Friday night, because you're not thinking about work. It wasn't a school night. We didn't have to get to bed by a certain time. And you can plan that out according to your schedule, and do it on, a night when nobody has to go to school or work the next day, whatever night that is. But it's important to me as a single dad doing this on my own. And I say it all the time. If it weren't for my kids, I wouldn't have lights on my house. If it weren't for my kids, I wouldn't have decorations up in the house. If it weren't for my kids, Christmas would just be another day. But, it's magical to children, and you have to, I don't want to say you have to, but, as a parent, you want to make that experience as much as you can for them, because that's a memory they'll have for the rest of their life. And when you're raising kids, if you choose to raise your child a certain way, they're going to raise their family that way. So while as a single guy, Christmas isn't a big deal for me, I'm a single dad, so that means Christmas is a big deal for me.
That's right.
And it's taken me a few years to fully embrace the event. Now, granted, we're not baking cookies, we're not making gingerbread houses or that sort of thing. I don't bake. That's not my thing. But, going to light up UCF, doing the Christmas tree, putting the lights up outside. We put the lights up outside and we decorated together.
Oh, that's great. Well, and I think another way for families to latch on and be present together, is cooking. Not everybody cooks, but for me, gathering around the table and having a meal together, not all the frenzied cooking and going crazy, but actually, no, don't everybody make a plate and head to the other room, right? You want to make the plate and sit together. And, my family history with when my dad was still with us, we would play games. We would eat and have dessert at the table, and then we would start playing games. Sometimes it was poker, sometimes it was dominoes, sometimes, and we always laughed and had a great time, but we were present together. Where we weren't taking phone calls, we weren't distracted, we all would be, and now Dad's not here anymore, and my brother, is in heaven too, and I'm so grateful that we set that time aside and we're intentional about focusing on each other, at least, during the holiday season, and so many. It's so hard to unplug and to trust that it's going to be okay if you don't answer that text or you miss that email or, there's a mess that needs to be cleaned up that you can't, you don't want to delay. You want to fix it. But
don't get me wrong, Stacy. I agree. You can express love in a good meal, and my kids and I, we've already talked about our menu for our Christmas dinner, but I just don't bake cookies.
Well, you can ice them. You can buy some sugar cookies and some icing and just ice them. Are you up for that?
I had a girlfriend last year who suggested that I do that. I don't like messes.
Here's the real deal.
But we are gonna grill some steaks for Christmas dinner.
Wax paper. You just put wax paper down or some foil. It'll be fine. You'll be able to walk away from the mess. I believe in you.
Well, but now you're putting pressure on me that I have to do certain things to satisfy the requirement of Christmas events. And I don't
see
want
what
any
you're
of our
doing
listeners
there.
or viewers to feel like you have to do any one thing. If your thing is board game night, make board game night a part of your holiday traditions. It
or
doesn't
whatever
have to be,
makes you be able to sit and be with each other. Don't just be in the same house, but be present in the conversation and in the moment. For us, game time helped. We were all, we had a blast. Like you're saying, I remember cooking always being a time where we all pitched in and did that kind of stuff. For you, it's going to the football game, and I think that there's all kinds of examples, whether it's going to take a walk together if the weather allows, and if you're able, just take a walk as a family. Or I don't know, there's been times I have pulled out yard games, the little balls that you throw and they wrap around the pole. You know what I'm talking about?
I don't know what that's called, but I do know what you're talking about.
Yeah, or ring toss or something. I've
got horseshoes in my backyard.
Yeah, as the kids got older, mine are in their 20s now. The games and the activities that we did in order to really be present with each other, they changed over the years. But
it's been in the 80s here in Orlando over the last few weeks, but I've got a big pile of firewood and my fire pit's already full. So I know if we get cold weather that week of Christmas, I know the girls are going to want to go outside and make s'mores.
Oh yeah, and that can go through New Year's. Another thing I was thinking about, knowing that we were going to talk about presents versus presents, is New Year's and how everybody's schedules are so different, like maybe being present, it's not on the day of. Like maybe, your gift is being present when it's convenient for somebody else, a child or a parent or grandparent, or, like maybe we try to be present after the day of or at someone else's convenience or at a different location than we would otherwise choose.
That was us last year. We did our Christmas because last year I had the back half of the Christmas break. We did our Christmas on the 28th, and believe you me, it was just as special and as magical for my kids. And we woke up early and we opened presents. And it doesn't matter if the date on the calendar is the 25th, the 28th, the 29th. It doesn't matter. We still did our Christmas the way we would if it had been on December 25th.
So being present doesn't, maybe involves a little bit more flexibility, so you could focus and have quality time versus, coming in and coming out, or maybe it's at an awkward time for someone else. Another thing that, that I thought about, how do I intentionally be present for my friends and the people I love? I like to write a nice card. I like to take time and write a nice card for the holidays, whether it's New Year's or Christmas or, it could be, if you're in the Jewish faith, it could be for Hanukkah, but really writing something nice that's thoughtful and, delivering it from the heart, and I don't know, I've always been impressed with people who give me the most beautiful card, and it's an easy way to tell someone that you're thinking of them and they mean a lot to you. Do you give cards to your children, Daryl?
I don't give them Christmas cards, and I'll be honest, I have not received a Christmas card since I got divorced. Although this year I did. A good buddy of mine who is an attorney there in Dallas, we went to high school together. He actually sent me my first Christmas card, my first family Christmas card that I have received in 3 years.
A lot of people are going with the electronic cards or the little, notes in your phone when you text a Bitmoji or something, and taking the time to actually do a Christmas card and give it to someone, to me, has always been very meaningful, and it makes me feel like somebody is present with me. Their heart is with me,
Now, I agree with you about the text message. It is nice to get a special text message. But what I don't like is when somebody sends out a group Merry Christmas text and then you respond to that text and you don't. Well, a lot of times, they'll send the text out to a bunch, not necessarily a group text, but they'll mass send it out to a bunch of people. And obviously you send a text out to 50 people, it's hard to respond to 50 people. So I kind of don't like when I get a mass holiday text and then I respond and then nobody responds to me.
Right.
So I feel like if you're going to do that, if you're going to send a text, it needs to be an individual text so that then it's just much more meaningful to me.
Oh, absolutely. And I think, everybody's different, but I really love it. I love everybody texting me and I love texting everyone, but I really feel more like someone's heart is with me when they hand me a card and give me a hug and say, you mean the world to me, and I hope that you have a great holiday, that kind of thing.
Do you have the Christmas card stand where you put all the cards in?
And it makes a little wreath.
Oh, I've seen those. Yeah. Okay.
And I keep them. I keep all the cards. I have shoe boxes full of the years of cards. So in case I have a light card year, I can recycle some of last year's cards so my wreath is complete.
Okay. Just get like a plain plastic paper label over and then write over.
No, I don't have to do that. I'm not that OCD. Although there have been times.
Scratch people's names out and write to Joe and Susan.
No. Oh my gosh, how do you even think about that? Okay, so I thought of something else while we're talking about, creating an environment of being present. Tell me what you think. So another way that I thought was really, really good for our home when we are trying to unplug and and be together is doing a craft. Like, last year we did these gingerbread houses, and my adult male boys and husband, we're all into it together, working on, our gingerbread houses. And it was just so fun. And yeah, it was a little messy, but we just put newspapers down, and I don't know, and then, after that we played cards, and so crafts were a really great way for us to just kind of be together and talk. Yeah, you're doing something, but you're also talking along the way, right? And it opens up everybody's holiday experience to times when we're together, and we can only do that, right? Not be on the computer or on the phone or having the TV in the background.
Well, I think the message that we want folks to get is that it doesn't matter what the event is. It doesn't matter what the ritual is. It doesn't matter whether it's baking cookies, whether it's decorating the tree. It doesn't matter what it is, but make that quality time with your kids a priority.
And friends and family too, because,
sure,
yeah.
Whoever's in your circle, your people, your tribe, whatever. But it's important to do that. And it's important to make that a priority and schedule that and make sure that you do it.
Right. And, I think being conscious, having the consciousness to say, I'm going to create opportunities in my home and in my experiences that allow for that quality of time together, and be okay with setting aside all the list of to-dos and tasks, even though maybe 2 hours or a day or a week, you don't know what's around the corner. And I know that with the pandemic and everything, we've all been kind of locked in, and it feels really, really great to be able to go out and shop and do all of these different things, and maybe a little bit more added pressure, of course. But don't forget that the best thing you can do is rest and connect with the people you love, and be present. Don't just give presents, but be present in your head, in your heart, and in your mind, in your person, your body, right? In your head, your heart, your body, and those will be memories and investments that will never come back. You only have this one time, this one window of time. It doesn't come back. It's a new window and a new time the next season. So anyway, I'm glad we got to talk about this today. It's really been on my heart.
Yeah, and I'll admit, for me, it has taken me a few years to fully embrace, my own Christmas traditions with my kids. But I feel like we're settling into a good routine, and I have a different feeling about the holidays now than I did 3 years ago when I was, my first Christmas without my wife and that sort of thing, because she always took the lead on holiday events and all that. So, I know I've made it a priority in my life over the last few years, and I feel like I'm just finally beginning to enjoy them. And I know that if you folks at home do the same thing, you'll find that it's worth the effort.
Absolutely. And I know there's people out there that do focus on being present during traditional, having our holiday traditions. One of the things that the Zoom call, was so fun about, playing bingo or having a scavenger hunt, and it just opens us up to get to know each other better if we don't already know each other. And we can focus on building each other up during those times. And, going into the new year, I know this is going to be really big for me, is creating a structure in my life so I can be present. I can not just take care of tasks or give, a gift. I can give the gift of my attention and my heart fully as we go into the new year.
Well, this is going to be our last show of 2021, and when we see you folks again, it'll be 2022. And I'm really excited about what lies ahead for me and for you, Stacy, and for the show, and for all of your families there in Dallas. I think this is a nice putting a bow on 2021, and I think we're all looking forward to 2022.
It's going to be a great year. We've got a lot of good things coming, a lot of thankfulness for what we've been able to do, and for all of our volunteers and donors and friends and families and kids. What a wonderful way to live in community together. And I for one am so grateful, and hope that in 2022 being present with each other more and more will be possible.
And if you folks want to help Stacy next year in her efforts, make sure to go to singleparentadvocate.org, and you can donate there. You can also donate at the Amazon store, the Amazon Wish, I think it is, page, and also follow us on social media.
Yeah, smile.amazon.com, and you can select Single Parent Advocate as your benefactor. And then also we have a new shopping partner called Make Shopping Count. I've put some social posts out about that. And so if you're shopping to buy airline tickets or office supplies or anything, you can go to makeshoppingcount.com, look up Single Parent Advocate, and order your items there, and they also give us a donation with anybody who is already buying and doing their things there. So I'm working on getting more and more of that available so that we can be the change we seek. And it's taken some time. I'm looking forward to all of the things to come for 2022, and hopefully we'll be able to get all of that information into everyone's hands.
All right. Well, that's our show for this week. We'll see you folks next year.
Happy New Year. Happy holidays.